start with questions, everyone.
Zach, what's this offseason been like for you?
Yeah, it's been crazy, obviously, for us as a team. And, for me, just trying to focus on the things I can to get better, stay connected to the guys, and, just kind of see what kind of happens until we got back here. So,
Zach, having to take a step back from the starter role, it helps by now it's Aaron that you're with because you guys have had a previous relationship before and you've looked up to him.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Of course, I'd wish things had gone differently in the past 2 years, and I would have played amazing and everything. But I truly believe everything happens for a reason, and and Aaron knows this, but he's somebody I've looked up to since I can remember playing football. So, I'm very appreciative of him and how much he is willing to help me because he really doesn't need to be that vocal, but he honestly truly is, an amazing friend. And obviously such an amazing quarterback. And so I am learning a lot of football, not just from him, but Hackett, Downing, our whole offensive staff. And, I feel like I've been really enjoying it.
What specifically has he been able to do for you, or, what are you taking from him?
Yeah, I'd say, with everything, working within the offense, having everything start with your feet where your eyes need to be, what things you simplify, what things you can take a little further, understanding things. And, he's really good at, letting me bother him after plays, like, hey, what'd you think there? Did I miss something here? What'd you think on that one? And, he's very responsive and open to helping with all that stuff, so I appreciate that.
When it became apparent that the trade was going to happen, what was your initial reaction? How did you feel?
Yeah, of course, I would like to be the guy. So, at first, you're not always happy about that, but, I'm extremely psyched that out of any quarterback we could have brought in, it was him, and I had been talking with him, this offseason. I was with him, early in the offseason before any of this kind of was even getting talked about. And so we got to spend some time together, and it was really cool to kind of see how it all went together. And, I have to look at kind of where I'm at as a quarterback and how I can look to be the best I can be. And I do think this could be a big part of it. I think what he brings to the table, what Coach Hack and Downing bring to the table could be really good for me in my development and then this offense, of course, too.
Before the trade went down, Zach, did you talk to Robert? Did you talk to Joe? Did they kind of explain to you where they were, why they were pursuing Aaron and things like that? Or was the first thing you kind of found out about it was when it all started to...
No, yeah, they were extremely open about everything, and I can't be bitter with the situation. I didn't perform well, and you have to take situations as they come, and so they were extremely open about it. What OCs we were looking at and quarterbacks we were looking at and different things like that. So, I appreciate the way that those guys handle everything.
When was that? When were you together with Aaron? Was that January?
Yeah, at times, kind of just hanging out, not even for football reasons, So like it was, so it was really cool how this kind of all happened. I got to spend a night with him just talking ball and stuff like that, and a little bit later on, a couple months down the road as well. So it was kind of cool to see how this all kind of happened.
With this new offense, is that because it could be hard? You're quarterback going into year 3. You're now learning a new offense from the offense you were just learning. Is there enough similarities between what Mike was doing and now what Hackett's doing, where you kind of have a base layer at all with this?
Yeah, as far as like when they say like the West Coast scheme, a lot of, if you look like on paper, a lot of the plays are drawn up exactly the same, but I think it's, kind of the details within them is kind of where offenses evolve. As a coordinator goes somewhere else, he kind of does something a little bit differently. But I think as an offense in general, a lot of concepts are similar, whether they're called differently, told differently in different formations, different things. I think I've learned that from Flacco. He's been in a bunch of different offenses, and you start to kind of just put things into different categories of what kind of plays are pretty similar to other ones. And so there's a lot of things that, fall over. I feel like I can take from past experiences and be able to use those.
I think Robert's quote at the end of the season was he wanted you to, get a mental reset, go read a book, I think that's what he said, right? What did you do after how did you turn off football? Did you take a vacation? Did you read a book? What did you do?
Yeah, me and my girlfriend got to go spend some time, but really, when I'm not happy with how I've performed, I just want to go play football. I just want to figure out a way to get better and not overdoing it, but that's what, makes me feel confident, feel happy, is throwing the ball around. That's why I love this game. So that was the goal, get back to work, and that's what makes the process so fun.
Aaron said something about you
kind of stripping down your fundamentals. Just how has that worked? How has he been involved in that, and how do you feel about that whole process?
Yeah, like I said, having the process of where it starts, not only from a mental standpoint of each play, of what we're looking at, but also our feet and the timing within it. And so I think, fundamentally, on paper, how can you go through everything almost a little bit robotic, and then as you progress in that play and you start to learn the ins and outs of it and you get better with it, you can start to expand and be able to make a little bit more difficult things happen, or some big plays that the defense is giving up, which he obviously does, so there's times we have to not watch him, but a lot of good learning for sure.
Do you feel yourself playing more free, or like, can you noticeably feel that in practice where things are maybe a little different than the last couple of years?
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't pinpoint it why. I think right now I'm having a ton of fun, like more fun than I've had, and I think that's just the QB room, being with Aaron. I think it's feeling like every single day there's so much to learn. It's like every day I'm just like, wow, I just learned 10 different things about playing the quarterback position. So I think I'm getting so eager to be there and soak up all the information that whole room has. So I think that's making it fun, which then translates to just playing free on the field. And the coaches do a good job of making everyone have a lot of fun too.
When you mentioned the fun aspect of it, then do you feel like almost the first 2 years, not taking it too seriously is probably the wrong way to term it, but that it just became too much of a job and you kind of lost a little bit of what you loved about the game?
Right.
Back when?
Yeah, and I think when things haven't gone well, and it just snowballs, and it's hard to have fun when it's just been snowballing for 2 years. And so it's good to have a reset, for everybody, including Mike, because I think Mike, LaFleur is going to be extremely successful. So it's cool that he gets kind of the same thing too, and it's unfortunate it didn't work out, but I think it's going to be good for everybody.
Aaron has said repeatedly how much he believes in you and sees a future for you. What does that mean for you after what you've been through the last couple of years, to have a guy like Aaron Rodgers saying that about you?
Yeah, it means a lot. That's why I'm always, telling him, can I bug you every single chance I can get, because I just want to know everything. I want to understand, what it takes to be the best, because, he's right there. And, I really appreciate that, and that's why I'm always so open to having his perspective on things.
Has he joked with you about making his life hell?
Well, that's what's funny, right? Is I feel like through this whole process, how old is he? 40? I mean, he's double my age. I'm like, you're like my big brother I never had, and sometimes the little brother's got to make your life hell. So,
Zach, is this whole thing last year, now being backup, do you think it's humbled you at all?
yeah, absolutely. This game will definitely do that to you. But like I said, I think everything happens for a reason, and am I going to have this opportunity to learn from the greatest quarterback of all time and this staff if things didn't happen the way they did? So I'm very optimistic about it.
The last couple of years for you, it was a very young offensive staff from a coaching perspective. Now there's a lot more experience in the room, and also in the quarterback room with Aaron. I mean, how much of a difference does that make for you now, where it's not first thing? Hackett, for example, is not his first time he's doing this. He kind of knows how to work with young quarterbacks and build an offense. Does that make a big difference?
Yeah, I think maybe just from a trust aspect too, of just really buying into what they're saying. I'm learning a lot from him and Downing in the room, and they're doing a great job of our indie drills and applying it to the on the field work, and I'm really enjoying. Those guys really know what they're talking about, and it's very refreshing and fun for us.
Zach, when you came in, you had to play right away. I'm curious, have you had any conversations with Aaron about his time coming into the league, because he didn't play right away, and how he used that time and maybe something that you can take advantage of now?
Yeah, exactly the things I'm learning. We're kind of going through a process where some of the things that we're banking every day do take time. It's not a week of studying that you can really nail these things down, and he had 3 years to really hone in on that stuff and to really study his craft and to see these different looks and to understand what protection calls he would make. And for me, that's what it kind of needs to be. And even if I'm playing down the road, that studying of always having your base fundamentals and I guess beliefs of how you should kind of attack things should always kind of be the same. And so it's really cool that he was able to kind of have those 3 years to really lay that foundation for himself as a player and say, this is what I'm going to rely on, and now as I go play, I can make some adjustments.
You just called Aaron the greatest quarterback of all time, and working with him on a daily basis now, have you identified maybe one thing that separates him from everybody else?
Yeah, I don't know. Pick one. He, Obviously, he's freakishly talented in his arm and everything, but his understanding for the game, his intelligence to take something and make it seem so complex and then all of a sudden make it seem so simple at the same time is really truly amazing. You know, I'd say his best gift is how curious of an individual he is. He's always researching and wondering and figuring things out and dives really deep down some rabbit holes of some crazy things. And so I really enjoy just the way his mind works. Like, I walk in the training room and he's playing puzzles on his phone because he like can't stop like thinking and putting things together. And I'm like, dude, just relax for a minute, you know? So that's his number one quality. He's just extremely intelligent.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Zach.
We have
Thanks, guys.
assistant coaches.